What is going on, my peoples? Frag Savage back again with yet another Division 2 video. Today we're going to be going over a build that I was a bit reluctant to use. I wasn't going to make it, but one of my friends had told me about tipping the scales gear set, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to make a build. And I kind of thought I'd go against the grain and use a weapon that not a lot of people have said that is good with the tipping scales build, and that is the Bullet King. I haven't really got on with the Bullet King too much. Have been an avid Bullet King hater for a while, considering that it doesn't really do much apart from shoot endlessly. I've found my way with the Bullet King for this build, and the build itself is probably one of the most insane damage builds that I've seen for tipping scales, myself included. I don't have an awful lot of builds that do in like insane DPS like this. I mean, the stacks like absolutely like build so quickly that it's unfathomable. When you see it, you're gonna understand what I mean. But yeah, so we got tipping scales going on, we got a Bullet King going on. I haven't really thought too much about the secondary, so obviously you're gonna see in a second when the build comes up. Any legendary mission, you can solo it. If you take it a little bit slower, but any heroic mission, you're absolutely going to cream every single enemy you come across. Crit damage, crit chance, headshots all day, every day. Like, it's insane. We're going to get into the build now. So first things first, obviously at the start of the show, Bullet King. It's like I said, it's an LMG that I haven't really wanted to use too much, but this build it works perfectly with. And we are rocking LMG damage to targets out of cover, and rate of fire. I do want to get damage to armor on the attribute instead, so I will be doing a couple re-rolls, and it's probably going to do way more damage after the fact that we've got that on there. So the talents for this is called Bullet Hell. The weapon never needs to be reloaded. For every 100 bullets that hit an enemy, it replenishes some ammo to you and your alloy's reserves. So if every single bullet you are hitting, every single bullet you're firing is hitting an enemy, you're never going to run out of bullet, and you're always going to be basically being able to fire them into oblivion. And as many enemies that come towards you, you're always going to be able to kill them. That's why it's so good for legendary missions, because when you're hitting those weak points, you're hitting the crit hits on the legendary missions, you're never going to have to stop firing because you have so many bullets. Obviously with an LMG, you're always going to have to worry about enemies being suppressed, which is a big issue that I've had, where I do run out of ammo because I just keep leathering bullets towards these enemies that are being suppressed. Other than that, like I said, I haven't really done anything with the secondary yet. I probably should look into getting a better secondary weapon, but I'm just rocking the Stack Broker, as it is just good for the getting in when you get in situations. Quick step pistol, as per usual. It's the only pistol that I use. It gets you through the mission as quick as possible. So now we are rocking a 4-piece tipping scales. We have the tipping scales sustainable mask with weapon damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. Not completely maxed out, but basically maxed out. We are rocking the tipping scales holster, and then that is weapon damage and crit hit damage. We are rocking the tipping scales knee pads, and on the tipping scales knee pads, we have weapon damage and crit hit chance. On the tipping scales backpack, we are rocking weapon damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit damage again. Now the talent for the tipping scales backpack gives us snowball. Increases critical hit damage received per stack from 4 to 7. So basically, instead of getting a crit hit damage per stack of 4, it goes to 7. Now the stacks are like insane on this. Like it's a max of 50 stacks, so just by having the backpack you are going up by an unfathomable amount. I can't do the math that quickly, but you're going up by an unfathomable amount, like in the 300-400s of crit hit damage, which is why when you have a good amount of crit hit chance, your crit hit damage is able to be hitting deleting enemies so quickly once you have those stacks on. Like you're going from about 400k per crit hit to about 1.3 million in a matter of about 5 or 6 kills. Because the stats for this, my base stats are 54.2% crit hit chance, and my crit hit damage is 110.1 with also 71% headshot damage. So you're, like I said, as long as you're getting those stacks built up and hitting those shots, you're going to be gaining an insane amount of crit hit damage, because obviously, as I said, we're wearing the backpack. So with that as well, we are rocking the equalizer unit alloys harness, which gives us obviously the 5% rate of fire for the brand set, but it also gives us perfect obliterate. And with perfect obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. So as long as we're hitting those headshots and we're getting that critical hit, we're getting like up to 24% extra weapon damage for 10 seconds. So as long as we keep hitting those targets over and over and over and over again, we're always going to keep that weapon damage to 24% continuously. With that, we're also rocking the overdogs. It's kind of a staple in anyone's build right now that's not rocking a memento or something else, or like a coyote's mask. Obviously, we're rocking the weapon damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage on this as well, with the normal talent, which is 30% to the lowest ranking enemies currently in combat. By tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3. Everyone should probably know what the overdog's doing right now. If you don't, there is a video that I have posted with an overdogs on it as well. You can go and check that out. It's on my channel. That is basically the build. Now, as I said, it's probably maybe not the best tip and scales build, because there are a lot more weapons out there that you could be using. You could have an LMG with killer on it, or you could have an LMG with measured on it. I've just found for the continuous firing that the Bullet King does, you are going to be continuously gaining those stacks without having to do anything, like without reloading or out doing anything. Like, the stacks are going to stay there. So obviously as soon as you stop firing, they're not, but the Bullet King builds up the stacks so quickly that once you get back into combat again, you're going to be taking out, well, anyone you want, really. Obviously, from the clip you've seen of me doing the Sarah mission, like I usually do for clips, it's taking out enemies insanely quickly that you don't even ever need to worry about getting into situations that you're going to die. Obviously, you might want to use some different kind of armor on this. I'm using weapon damage, but you maybe might want 2 different things of armor on it as well. Maybe you've got a secondary unit alloys that you've got armor on instead of weapon damage, or maybe you want to put the mask on the holster as armor instead of weapon damage. Anything you want to choose to make it easier for you, then that's not an issue at all. Obviously, I've gone straight for weapon damage just to make those crit hit chances and crit hit damages like so much easier to hit, and to get that 1.2, 1.3, upwards of 1.7 in some situations on this. As I said, it's one of those builds that I personally have put off making because I'm not really an LMG guy myself. Obviously, I did make the blue screen build, which is another weapon which was really good on this, as well as a pecan, as well as a pestilence, as well as basically any LMG that obviously fires for a long period of time on this. The stoner with killer is incredible on this, or the classic M60. Anything with a lot of bullets is going to be really, really well on this as well. It's a build that a lot of people have done, because the tip and scales is probably, I'd assume, going to get nerfed at some point soon, but we don't know. Hopefully this build is another build that you guys can enjoy from my channel. And as usual, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know if you're going to be using the Bullet King, or if you're going to be changing it for someone else. Or maybe if you're going to be using a different weapon or a different little bit of set, or maybe you've got a different tip and scales build that I could try out myself. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. It helps the channel out massively. And also hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.